I had so much stuff and I had no idea how I was gonna pack it all. But where there's a will, there's a way. Welcome back, guys, to another video. I'm Brittany with Laid Back Lux, and if this is your first time tuning in, don't forget to hit that subscribe or the bell to be notified when I make new content. Also, don't forget to hit the like button or leave comments. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you and welcome back to another video. I just wanted to quickly give a quick shout out. Yes. And I wanted to say thank you to all my subscribers. As you know, I had a goal to meet 100 subscribers by August 1st, and not only did I meet that goal, I exceeded it and doubled it. Thanks to you guys for sharing, liking, subscribing. So I really appreciate you helping me grow this channel from this little itty bitty thing to 200 people. So thank you. So as the title states, I'm going to be sharing my tips and tricks that I've used over the years on how to move and ship my designer/expensive items to ensure that they arrive at my final destination safely. So a lot of this I've had from previous experience. I've moved overseas a total of 3 times, I believe. I moved from Hawaii to Portugal, Portugal back to Hawaii, Hawaii to Italy, and Italy to the States. So actually 4 times. But I've also had experience because when I was young, my mother and my father and I, we moved from the States to Hawaii, and we moved a lot around the islands, just kind of trying to settle in when we first arrived. So I have plenty of experience on how to pack and how to move designer items. At least I know what works for me. This may not work for everyone, but I'm gonna share the tips that have been extremely successful for me and my family. So if you are interested in learning the 3 different ways that I share, that I pack and move, don't forget to watch till the end of this video, because I do have several different types of packing and moving tips that I share. So I have 3 ways that I personally like to ship bags. And those 3 ways are either through insured mail / registered mail. I either take the products with me on the airplane, or if I have to use a packing company, there's a certain way that I pack my bags to make sure that they get there safely. So I will leave timestamps if you're interested in specific ones, so you can jump to the content that you're most interested in. But I really do suggest watching the video the whole way through, because sometimes you might have to do a mix of these. Personally, on my last move, I had to do a mix of all 3 of these just to make sure that everything got there on time and safely. So if you see me looking down, it's because I did take notes. This is a subject that I wanted to make sure was very clear and concise and followed a rhythm and flow, and I didn't forget anything or leave anything out. So if you see me looking down from time to time, it is because I'm checking my notes. So let's get started with the first way. If possible, I always like to take the most amount of items with me on the plane. Now that doesn't mean in my checked baggage under the plane, it means in my carry-on with me. So this last time I did travel, I did go a little crazy before living in Italy, and I bought a whole bunch of stuff. During the move, when the packers came, and after they left, I just was buying a lot. And I wasn't sure how I was going to take everything with me. I knew for sure that I was going to take my Keepall. So I have the Keepall 45, and this guy held a lot of stuff. I think I had a flattened Speedy 35 in here. I did have that. I had all my toiletries in there, so the 15, the 19, and the 26. I had my Truce in here, the Truce 25. I had the Nice Mini, the Nice Nano. I had my Felice in here. I had my husband's wallet. Sorry, I'm trying to think because it was kind of a long time ago, but not really that long ago. I had a lot of small leather goods in here. And I did manage to put my, my Speedy 35 in here. I think that was the only purse that I had inside this bag. The rest I either shipped via registered mail or I moved with the packing company. So I actually had 2 suitcases full of items, but when we left Italy, they had this policy where you could only have 1 carry-on bag on you and on the plane. That was to help limit the amount of people and movement on the plane, and we weren't able to use the overhead, so everything had to go underneath the seat. And that kind of threw me for a tizzy last minute because I had to then rearrange my whole packing situation. So I would say if you can limit it to 1 during this COVID time, good. But usually you're able to take 2, and if I was able to take 2, I would have definitely been able to take a lot more with me. So I did do this, and it was handy. Now you don't have to use this. I also had a hardcover suitcase. Whatever you would typically take with you on the plane is something you can use, but I would try and max out the size of that carry-on that you take. Try and get it to the maximum size that you can take with you. Because that just gave me the best peace of mind. I knew exactly where my luggage was. I knew exactly where my items were. I knew my husband was with me, so we had a little bit extra protection. It wasn't just me by myself. So I do like to travel that way if possible. Now, the second way I used to pack my items was via registered mail and USPS. So USPS does have the insurance option, and that is what I use. I actually packed a bag the size of my on-the-go, because I also did use my on-the-go as a purse. So my husband actually carried my keep all, and I carried my on-the-go, and that was chock full of stuff as well. Mostly wallets and things of that nature. But I also packed a bag the size of the on-the-go in this guy. And what I did was I didn't just wrap it in normal paper that could rip easy. I actually got registered mail tape, and I taped the whole box. Now, if you've never seen registered mail tape, it's tamper-proof. So you would know if someone opened it. It'd be really hard for someone to open it without cutting it. And once they cut it, they can't reseal it. So you would know if your box was tampered with. And I'll show you a picture. I'll put a picture up there of what it looks like. And I believe you can get it from the post office. You can buy it from like packaging store. But you have to like wet it and then wrap it. So that is what I use. And the reason why I did that was for some reason I wasn't able to get my purses covered under our homeowner's insurance, or at the time our renter's insurance, and this was the only way that I knew for sure that everything was going to be insured if something were to happen. So I just paid the premium price to ship my bags with full insurance to give me the best peace of mind. And I did ship it priority mail, so it got there quickly. I had to sign for it. And I had the tracking, and I had the insurance, which gave me the best peace of mind. So if you have something that's highly valuable and you're not able to fit it in your carry-on, and you don't necessarily want to send it with packers or movers, I do suggest finding a carrier that you personally trust. Some people trust DHL or UPS or FedEx. I personally trust USPS a little bit more because they have that registered mail option, and I go with that. So just so you know, registered mail is anything insured over $5,000 has to go registered mail. If it's insured under $5,000, you could do regular priority, but even so, I would still pack it in that registered mail tape just to have the best peace of mind. And if you need more suggestions or help, contact your local USPS or go into the store, and they'll be able to give you some tips and tricks as well as to how to properly tape your box. I guess I could do a video on showing you. I just have to get some more registered mail tape. So if I ever send something to my mom or something, I will show you exactly how I package my items. But yeah, so this was the second way that I did it. Any box size, I've done all different types of sizes. Remember though, it does sometimes go by weight and size of the box. So just to kind of give you an idea, I think the most I spent on a package with insurance to ship it from Italy to the West Coast, it was probably about $100 to $110. Now prices can vary based on weight, size of the box, and the amount of insurance you're putting on that box. So that's just kind of giving you an idea of what it would be like for something my size. I think the weight was like 38 pounds, maybe, because I had several things in the box. But yeah, the third way, and probably the most practical way, especially if you are moving your whole house and you're gonna have movers, is to pack the bags yourself. So I'm gonna sip because it's taking a little bit of a time, but yum, tea in the morning. But pack the bags yourself. So I have a certain rhyme and reason to the way I pack. And to some it may be like way too much, but to me it gives me the best peace of mind. I know exactly where each item is, and it just makes me feel more comfortable. I pack my bags, I pack my items myself. Anything that's important to me, I pack myself. So when I moved, I made sure, this was the first time, when I moved from Italy to Portugal, or from Hawaii to Portugal / Italy, I had all of my items in plastic containers. So this is tip number one. I love, if you can afford it, get the plastic containers. Typically they can last a few moves and you can use them for storage when you're not in transition. But if you can afford it, get the plastic containers. And the plastic containers I'm talking about is this guy in the background. So what I did was I got one color for all of my other items, clothing, dishes, whatever I put in them, little keepsakes. I had one color. That color was red. For my specialty items, I had a different color, like I think I used purple for like important clothes, important documents. And anything that had a high ticket item, I used the color green, because green reminds me of money, and the stuff that I had in there was hella expensive. So that was my little reminder of like what items were in what. So that was my first thing I did. I bought those plastic containers and I color coordinated them with what I was shipping. So I only had 2 of these green containers for my purses, and it kind of made it easier for when they were unpacking the truck. I knew exactly where to look or what to look for to ensure that my boxes made it on the truck, and then when I arrived on the other side, my boxes made it off the truck. So I really did like that method. That was a tip that my mom gave me. That's a tip that she's used ever since I was little, and it was really, really helpful. So the second thing you want to do is, if you have a structured bag, you'd want to actually put some kind of filling in it. I really like the bubble airbags or bubble wrap that you get from Amazon to kind of stuff the bag and make sure it keeps its form. Now, unfortunately, this is going to take up a lot more space, so you may wind up having more containers. For me, it didn't take up too much space because I did get the largest size container that I could find, and I tried to put as much into one as possible. So I did fill it with like the bubble wrap air, and then I placed them in their duster. Now, if you don't have a duster, if you lost it, you sold it, it didn't come with one, you can use a plain cotton t-shirt. I would try and use a white or maybe the color of the bag so it doesn't transfer color if anything were to happen, but a plain cotton t-shirt will take the place of a duster if you are unable to find or locate the original duster for the bag. So once I placed everything in the duster, I then placed it in the bag in an organized way to make sure it wasn't too squished, it wasn't too heavy, and that nothing was going to flatten it or misshapen any of the bags. After I did that, I made sure, well, let's rewind. Before I even packed, I had a display of my bags. I took a picture so I knew every bag that I had. And then also, once I packed the bags in their dusters, in their, with their respective structure bubble wrap, I then placed them in the container and I took a picture of that before sealing. Now, every crate and every box that I made, I had a book where I numbered everything and I wrote the color of the box and the contents inside of it. So I knew that, box number 32 was a green box with my Louis Vuitton bags, and box number 10 was a purple box with my work clothes in it. So I had a running list that I knew exactly where everything was. Even though the shipping company made their own, theirs was not nearly as detailed as what mine were, and it just made it a lot easier when it came to unpacking. So after taking the picture, I then make sure to seal my container in a way that I know I sealed it and I could tell if anyone tampered with it. So to take a kind of an example, this was my lid. So you can kind of see how I made a pattern, which isn't the hardest to recreate, but if it was just a little off, or if I noticed that like I didn't stop a seam here and then there was a seam stopped here, that would show that it was off. Everything I did ended at the very bottom, so they'd really have to like cut from the bottom, or if they cut it from the side, I would know anytime, any way they tampered with it. So that's my second or my third or whatever number tip I'm on, is to then tape it in a way that is special to you. Something that you're gonna remember, whether it's 2 across and 3, 3 down or whatever. However it works for you is gonna be the best. I did 3 across and I believe 3 down. Yeah, just as a little keepsake. I know I've seen people where they double wrap it twice on one way, double wrap it the other way, and then kind of go from there. But it's really personal preference. I did use duct tape. I've also used packaging tape in the past, but I prefer duct tape because it is a little more heavy duty. It is a little more, it allows you to see a little more where it's been cut and if it's been tampered with. So I actually still have tape from one of my other moves on there too. So that is how I make sure that everything is copacetic. Let's see. That's kind of it, now that I think about it. I know if you have the ability to, I know when we were moving, they asked if we had any high ticket items. At first I didn't feel comfortable telling them, but just to make sure if anything were to happen insurance wise, you do want to let them know. So I did let them know. And what I also did was I keep all my receipts. So I took all my receipts and I kept them with me in a box just in case anything were to happen. I did have proof of purchase. I had proof of the amount that I paid for them. And I would be able to say, hey, these were damaged prior to moving or these were not. And so I did have to let them know exactly how much it was and, if I knew where they were located, and I did. And luckily they didn't ask too many questions. Some people have asked a little more, like, can I see them first? Or sometimes they'll make you reopen it. But usually if it's already sealed and you've wrapped it, they're pretty okay with just wrapping it up as long as you know, hey, that's the designated box that I packed in. I've been trying to detox. We have been eating American food for 3 days and I have not felt good. So we have started to cook again and I'm doing a little detox tea to make myself feel a little bit better. So don't mind me. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I know for a lot of people, it's a little difficult. And I would say use these tips for sure. If you're packing your items and you're taking them in a U-Haul across the country yourself, you have a little more peace of mind because you know where your items are. But I would still recommend packing them in a different color. So at least when you're unloading your U-Haul or whatever you use to move, you know exactly where it is. But again, if someone else is packing your stuff or you're going further or if you're having to fly to get to your next destination, definitely do the containers and definitely pack them yourself. Do not just let the packers move your stuff for you because that's how things can get lost. A quick story was I hadn't decided on one of my bags, the Speedy, I think it was Speedy 30, the DE one, if I was going to take it with me on the plane or if I was going to ship it in a box or if I was gonna let the movers take it. And last minute, I was like, you know what, I don't need it. Let me just shove it in the box and go from there. And I just shoved it in a random box. I shoved that and then my Samir 35 in a random box. And actually another bag too. And I lost my mind when I could not find it because it didn't arrive with my first set of goods. We had one shipment leave earlier than the other one, and that shipment arrived by plane. And that's how I actually shipped most of my items. If you can ship it by plane, that's better. You risk less mold and mildew getting into the containers. So that's another point. Make sure to get an airtight container if you can. because you don't want mold or mildew or humidity to get into the box and take over your bags. So the first shipment came by air, and that's where most of my bags were. And when I couldn't find that Speedy in the air shipment, I was like, oh my God, where did I put it? And I really had to think and think and think. And even when the movers came with the stuff that came by boat, I still didn't know where any of it was, and I lost my mind. I literally had to open every box until I found my bag, because I was just like, I was sick. I was sick to my stomach. I was trying not to stress out. I was trying not to be angry or upset because it was my fault. I didn't follow my own rules. And luckily I found it, but it wasn't a fun, I don't know, 5 hours looking for it. So those would probably be my best tips so far. But I'm gonna take a break real quick and just like read over my notes and make sure that I got everything that I wanted to, and then I'll come right. Okay, so I don't think I missed anything. The only thing I did want to ask is if any of you guys know of an insurance company or policy that covers designer bags. Can you leave that in the comments? Because anytime we've called our homeowners insurance or our renters insurance, no one has been able to say that they can actually do designer handbags. They've all been able to do jewelry, but no designer handbags. And I'm really looking to do that with the types of moves that we do, as well as the locations that we go to and the traveling that we do. I do like to have some kind of peace of mind. So if you know of any insurance companies or policies that do that, please leave them below in the comments so I can look it up. I'm sure it would help other subscribers and viewers too if they were in the same situation. If they're watching this video, they might be moving sometime soon. So if you have any information on that, please, please, please leave it in the comments. But that's pretty much it for how I move. Usually the way that I pack my bags, I don't experience any mold. I think I've experienced mold once, and that was because I had first left my bags in, it was a climate controlled storage, but then I was gone for a few months, and then it went from Hawaii to Italy, and I did have a couple of Cole Haan bags that actually did get a little bit of mold, but it was really easy to remove. You just kind of brush it off and then you clean it with vinegar and water, and the mold never came back. Even on this move coming from Italy back to the States, I didn't experience any molding issues. But it can happen. If it does happen, just be really gentle. Look up the type of leather or material it is and follow the steps to remove the mold that way. Mostly it consists of using vinegar, but just be careful and make sure that your items can be treated with that. So that's it for today's video. I hope this helped. I know it was a little more informative and less fun, but it was a customer or a subscriber requested video, and I really like doing those for people. So again, if you have any suggestions or questions or things that you'd like to see me make a video about, don't hesitate to leave them in the comments. And I hope this was helpful to everyone watching. If at any point you're going to experience a move, feel free to like this so you can reference it later on in the future. But yeah, I think that's going to be it. I will leave definitely links, if I can, in the bottom, in the description below. I doubt I will, but if I need to, I will for sure. I'll help you guys out. But yeah, that's it. Don't forget again to like, subscribe, share this with your friends if you know anyone who's moving. Again, I do have another goal. I think my next goal is going to try and be to get to 500 subscribers. So the more you share this, the faster that happens, and I get really, really excited. And I think I might actually kind of do a giveaway at 500 just because I like giving away stuff. And I really, really, really appreciate everyone who takes the time to subscribe and watch these videos. So I do want to kind of give like a thank you. But yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, leave those comments. I love comments. Sometimes I'm quick with it too. Like I'm like, bing, bing, bing. So if I've ever missed yours, I'm sorry, it wasn't intentional. I don't think I have, because I do a pretty good job of going back. But definitely leave comments, leave suggestions. And yeah, that's kind of it. So come on, guys. Really? So stay safe and ciao.